There is power in personal stories. It connects us, it empowers us, and it holds us accountable. It creates understanding and expands our perspective. This is Big in the Community with Jonathan James at the Kalamazoo Promise, a podcast aimed to highlight local leaders, collaborators, and innovators in the greater Kalamazoo community. In this episode, I sit down with Eric Stewart and we talk about the Career Connect campus from RESA and all the different ways that they're exploring career pathways for students. All right, welcome back to another episode of Big in the Community. We are here with Eric Stewart. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'll start us off with a quote. The root word for competition is compete. It actually means come together. And that's Sue Enquist, legendary coach, educator, and motivator. So, Eric, with that quote, it really challenges our assumptions about competition.
Sure.
And we talk about collaboration and whatnot. How does the idea of coming together inform your leadership philosophy, especially in your work around talent development?
Yeah, great question. Great quote. Heck of a way to start. I think of collaboration as my primary responsibility in a lot of respects, especially with what we're trying to accomplish in the community. I think we've really held on to a quote at RESA. We say it all the time that if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. Mm-hmm. And I think what we've been able to do around some of our career development work, and particularly the development of the new Career Connect campus, is a story of a community coming together around a goal. It's not the story of an organization that built a building or built a program. It's a story of 300 plus people that sat around and said, we can do better as a community. And we're moving. And that's all about collaboration.
That's good stuff. So for those who are unfamiliar with your role, can you share a little bit more about your position at RESA and how that's evolved or changed over the years?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I've been with RESA for a while now. This is year 18 for me at the organization. Wow. My role is...
An adult.
I am an adult.
Your career.
Yeah. I can actually, it's every year get older. That's the same for all of us.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's true. My role is assistant superintendent. I oversee our career and talent development work. And that means a lot of things. Most notably in the community right now, it's kind of centered around our career and technical education work, the development of the new campus. But we also have a lot of other programs that are making moves in the community. Education for the Arts is a whole suite of arts-focused programs for intermediate and advanced level artists, young artists in the community. We operate the Early Middle College in collaboration with KVCC and the 9 local school districts. We operate a whole suite of after-school time programming. We operate an awesome summer youth employment program, a career coaching program. We work with Michigan Works on a lot of their initiatives. So it's a very vast body of work, but super fortunate to get to do what I do. It's evolved over time as, I would say, the landscape of education, the labor market, workforce development has evolved. And so most notably in the community, right, the last 5 years, I've been in this particular role focused on getting that Career Connect campus opened, operational, and hopefully accomplishing the goals that we've set out with the community.
Mm-hmm. It's an amazing building.
Yeah, thank you.
I saw it. We Kalamazoo Youth Development Network, we had our board retreat there.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw you.
Beautiful space. Yeah. I thank you that we were able to use it.
Sure.
Let's talk a little bit more about it. What excites you most about the new space?
Everything. I mean, that place is, for somebody like me who's a career development person by nature, that's what I've come up doing in my career. That's a playground. I mean, it really is. But what excites me more than anything is, I mean, just in the last few weeks, the kids have come, right? Mm-hmm. I've been working on this project for 7 years. Wow. And the building part of it for the last 4 or 5, right? It's, just to watch all those kids come through the space on opening day on August 26th It was, hair standing up on your arms type of environment. It made it all worth it, right? But when I think about how we got there, the journey that we took to get there, it's a story, as I was saying earlier, it's a story of a community that came together. There was no one person that was responsible for anything. We had the gift of collaboration, the gift of people that cared about kids, the gift of industries that needed talent and came to us as part of the pipeline, came to RESA as part of the pipeline. We had the very real gift of financial support and a location to build the building. Kalamazoo, you can do cool stuff in Kalamazoo. The Kalamazoo Promise is, the number one shining example of that, right? And I think what we've developed down there on the corner of Sprinkle and I-94 is another one, and it's a special community. And so when I think about what excites me the most, it's the young people benefiting from a community that cares about them at a very real level, and this is another example of that.
Yeah, I know when it first started being built, I was like, what's about to be there?
Totally.
Like, I had no idea. I was just like, stadium?
I heard a lot. What we heard a lot was it's, what's the name of I've lost the name. The name of the indoor water park, Great Wolf Lodge.
Oh.
Great Wolf Lodge.
That would have been nice.
Yeah, I had a lady.
This is better.
I had a lady in the store tell me, because it said, it's like, I heard that's a Great Wolf Lodge. And I was like, boy, kids are going to be upset when they realize it's a school, But we've heard it all. So yeah.
But it blew my mind walking through there.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to say that a few times.
Thank you. That's cool to hear.
But what kind of impact do you hope for the Career Connect campus to have?
Yeah.
Not just for students, but for the whole community.
Yeah, I think, at the very root level, on a student level, first and foremost, because that is who we, that's why we're there. On the student level, I think a career has, the ability to transform a life. And so if you'll hear me say all the time, if we do nothing else, we will help kids see what they can be. And at a really very real level, too many kids don't understand what's available to them, the opportunities that are here in their community, the opportunities, if you walk through life with, your parents doing one set of careers or jobs and your neighbors doing another, you're limited by your environment. You can be limited by your environment. So what an opportunity to create a wider, broader environment for people to experience new things. So that at the very base level, we can help kids see what they can be, but way more than that. We can help them get competitive in the labor market right from jump. We can get them credentials, certifications, where they can go to work right after, they get out of our, proverbial four walls. We can get them their first credential and a series of stackable credentials, all those things that will help a student move through their life and their career. When I think about it more globally, I think these are the types of things that can that can have an impact on the economic future of our community, right? We get more visits from, you would think a lot of the visits we get are from school districts and stuff. How did you do that? How do you do that? When we do, we have Arizona coming in next week. We got, Kansas City coming in a while, so the people are interested. But way more than that are our business partners. And they want to see the space. They want to be a part of the space because they need the talent so desperately. And they've been pushing on us. We have 240 business partners on 19 different advisory groups. And they want this so much more than anything because they know they need the talent, and they need the talent trained a certain way. And so they helped us pick the equipment. They helped us design the space. They helped all of that. And so when I think about the impact for them, right, this can be their playground too, right? They can get more exposed to the young people, what they're doing for, in terms of getting their credentials, what their skills and abilities are, what they're bringing into the work at a younger age. And our kids benefit from that almost immediately. They're connecting with employers immediately. And when I was coming up, maybe you'd meet somebody on a career day, maybe,
Right.
But what we've been able to do is to just expand that so drastically that kids are going to have a network by the time they leave. And that's a pretty powerful thing.
That's awesome. I'm listening to this. I'm like, man, when I was growing up.
I know. Where was it, right? Where was it?
But I hear that so much about, like, so many different nonprofits, so many different organizations. Yeah. It's like, wow, we have all this in Kalamazoo, and it's changing, it's growing, and like this is just part of it.
Yeah.
Right. But how do you see the space breaking down barriers between education and industry? You talked about it a little bit.
Great question. I think the space itself was designed to do just that. It actually looks more like if you were to walk in, it looks more like a Stryker building than it would like a K through 12 building, right? Mm-hmm. And that's with intention. We want kids to embrace that place as a place of work primarily, rather than a place of traditional education. If I walk in there today and I see students all sitting at their desks with a teacher standing at the front lecturing at them, I will know that we've done something critically wrong, right? They get a lot of that in education. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We need some of that.
Yeah.
What makes CTE different is it contextualizes education of the world of work, right? And so we have the equipment in there. We have the CNC mills. We have the awesome kitchen for the culinary program. We have the vet office with all of the surgical equipment. We have everything, the auto lifts.
Kittens.
Yeah, we have kittens.
I saw cats.
There's cats. There's cats. Yeah, there's cat. Don't worry, hypoallergenic, we'll make sure. But anyway, I mean, those are the things that can really help, make meaning of what students are learning academically, right? Mm-hmm. It's connecting the dots. We have a place that can connect the dots for them visually, right? Mm-hmm. And so what I think about the employers embracing that space, right? They can come in and be part of the instruction. They can be part of the curriculum design. They can influence what we're teaching kids by saying we need that CNC mill versus that mill, right? And so they have their hands all over that place. I mean, their fingerprints all over that place, right? Mm-hmm. And that's a pretty awesome thing. It's also a space that invites employers in. It's but just by the way it feels, right? We have executive boardrooms where they can come in. We had a local manufacturer from, I won't say their name, but we had a local manufacturer that had a think session, a strategy session in our conference room made of all glass that oversees the commons area. We had students walking by saying, what are those people in there doing, right? And we got to say, oh, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like it demystifies what's going on out there in the world of work, and kids can actually be a part of that. That's awesome, right? And employers are eating it up. They're eating it up because they're saying, yeah, we need that, right? We need kids understanding that at a different level than what we've seen. And so just by virtue of the way we've designed the space, the way we've designed the programs, the way we've integrated in their ideas into our curriculum, those walls are starting to come down, and it's a beautiful thing. And we're just getting started, right? I mean, the proof will be in the pudding. And so we're just getting started.
No, I'm excited for it. I mean, I've seen just knowing like myself growing up, like I've met so many people, like even just this interaction, like when I was younger, I was like, wait, I'm about to meet with a something, yeah. Why am I meeting with this person? Like you kind of get this imposter syndrome.
Sure.
Where you're like,
very familiar with it.
Am I supposed to be here? Can I actually, these are people?
Yeah.
It kind of takes away that level of fear.
Yeah.
Having a little bit of exposure to people in these different roles, or even just seeing them being in the same space.
That's right.
Makes you feel like, oh, this is where I'm supposed to be at.
That's right.
And that to me is a huge thing.
I love that. Thank you for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you've spoken a little bit about career pathways, right? And the importance of helping students see possibilities. What are some specific ways this initiative creates equitable access to high-wage, high-demand careers?
Sure. Well, first and foremost, right, we did our homework before we built this place. And so we made sure we did a 4-part labor market analysis that almost killed us. I mean, we hired the University of Michigan to do one study. We hired Upjohn Institute to do a parallel study. And what they came up with was the exact same suite of occupations that met a threshold for high wage, high demand. And then we colored that a little bit more with some commentary from employers during focus groups. And then to get even more data, the 4th part was a survey that we did, a labor market survey that RESA did. And so what we were able to do, triangulate after all of that work, was pathways with specific occupations that we felt are in high demand now and will be, as best we can tell, in the future, that have a high wage. And those are the programs that you see at the Career Center. there's obviously definitions around what all that means and, the data and everything, but that's those are the careers that we put at the Career Center. If it didn't meet the threshold, we didn't do it. A lot of places they'll say, well, we chose this program because it's the most popular with students. We intentionally took a different tact. We said, we're choosing where there's the most opportunity, right? Where there's the most occupational opportunity and economic opportunity for young people. Yeah. And then it's our job to get kids familiar with those occupations and excited about them. And so that's the work that we have teams doing now. So that's what we've actually put in the space. Now, the old model of career and technical education was offered through a decentralized model, right? And so instead of being at a single campus, kids had to get on a bus during the day and go into another school in another district most of the time and take a class and get back on a bus and come back. That's asking a lot of a young person for a lot of reasons. And so I'll give you the classic example that I've always talked about when I'm speaking about this is our machine program is offered in Vicksburg High School. Great high school, great teacher, great. Vicksburg's awesome, huge fan. They but that's on the southernmost part of the county. If I'm asking a young person from, say, Case Central to get on a bus, go down there during the middle of the day, take this program in an environment that you are totally unfamiliar with, a group of kids that you've never been around, right? And then to come back during the course of the day, I'm asking a lot of a young person, right? So then when you unpack the data at the end of the year, it's no surprise that 95% of the kids that are in our machine program in Vicksburg just happen to go to Vicksburg High School. That's not good enough. Right. It's not good enough for offering the opportunity to young people. It's sure not good enough to produce the talent that we need as part of the pipeline here for employers. And so what we knew we needed was a more centralized version. The campus is dead center of the county. It's right on a highway and a major street, right? So it's easy to get to for buses. All students are provided transportation to and from. And it's its own building. It's its own identity. It's made up of the 9 local districts and the kids from private and charter academies and homeschool. It's made up, it's their own identity. They're not stepping into another identity and having to, code switch during the day to be a part of that group. And so what we found is already in this month that we've been going is that identity that culture is starting to take shape, right? And it's a beautiful thing, and kids are feeling comfortable in it. And that's exactly what we're trying to create, right? And so those are, when I think about equity and I think about young people in particular and how they walk through education, those things are critically important. I don't think oftentimes we pay enough attention to it. Those are the things that come to mind.
Some good stuff. I'm taking notes. From your view, how can schools, families, employers work together to support early career exploration?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, we've talked a lot about the Career Connect campus, but we also have a lot of programs that start working with kindergartners, as young as we can. I think when I think about schools' role in that, K-12 schools, we have an awesome, set of K-12 organizations, educational institutions in our community. We're so lucky. One of the things that we've worked hard on, particularly through our Career Champions program, is working with K-12 instructors on how do you bring career development into your curriculum. If you're a math teacher, how do you make those math problems relevant to careers for young people? Same with ELA classes, or whatever the class may be. How do we contextualize the work that we're doing and create purpose on the back end of it? This is how you'll use this in this career, or this is why this is important in that career. Demystify some of that, because it's oftentimes, I don't know, you remember, you were coming up, I sure as heck do, like, when am I ever going to use this? Let's answer that question for young people. Yeah, we can do it.
That's important.
We can do it. And kids will ask it less and less if we front load it. And we say, let's think about, let's teach geometry by doing a construction project, right? Or whatever, there's a million examples of what we can, of different things that we can think of. So we're working with kids on that. We've also created a mobile lab called the Discovery Lab, which is basically one of our classrooms on wheels. And we take it around to the community, and in particular middle school kids, and start getting them interested in careers. So by the time they get into high school, they know which program, right, might interest them a little bit more than the other. And they know what questions to ask for young people, right? I'll also add a couple more things. We host an awesome event every year called My Career Quest. It's been going for years. Every 8th grader in the county and 2 other counties locally come through that. It's a wild day. If anybody out there wants to volunteer, Oh my gosh, 4,000 eighth graders in like an hour. But it's amazing because we have so many employer partners that come and have demonstrations and projects for young people to do during the day. And again, it helps kids see what they can be. And then just a word about the building itself, the Career Connect campus. It's located on a highway. It's a beautiful building. It actually lights up at night. The reason I bring this up is because it can create what I call the back of the car conversations. Meaning kid in the back seat, mom, dad, what's that? Let's have a conversation about careers, right? Let's have it's a cue. It's a conversation starter. And when I think about parents' role in career development, it's everything. It's the whole ball game. Educators are amazing people. Employers are great. I know most of them are very well-intentioned. But the parents are playing the lead role in getting our young people ready for careers, and we need them talking more about it, talking more about the options. So if there's any parent out there that wants to have that conversation, give us a call. We have stuff for you too. We have stuff for you too, because we know sometimes we're also limited by our own exposure. And so what does it mean to be an electrician? How would I know? I've never been one. Let's have some conversations about how we talk to kids about that. Those opportunities are available as well.
Every time we drive past it, I mentioned it to my 13-year-old son.
Oh, my man.
He's in 8th grade now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you need to be in that building.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, I hope he is.
You need to be in there.
Yeah.
I'm having, those are front seat conversations
love
now.
it.
Because
yeah.
now he's in the front seat.
Oh, love it.
He's a big kid now. Anyway, what advice would you give to business partners who want to get involved but don't know where to start?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I could give you the the most low-hanging fruit, right? And that's give us a call, right? Mm-hmm. We have stuff on our, Career Connect, or kresa.org/Career Connect. That's a way you can get engaged with young people with activities that we do. But people are listening to this, they're less likely to do that, more likely to just take a bit of advice and just have a conversation with a young person about careers. Mm-hmm. Everybody has a talent. Everybody does something for a living. How do we clue young people in on that more? How do we have conversations with people about that more? It could be your kids. It could be the neighbor kids. It could be asking, kids, what do you want to do when you grow up? And then using that as the in, right? Mm-hmm. More of us adults who are out there doing their thing in their career, grinding it out. We owe something to that next generation to tell them about what we're up to and about what that could look like for them. We also might learn something from them. We might learn, hey, I would do this, but I have this perspective on what that is. Sometimes we might be able to correct some of that, or we might be able to get some ideas from young people. It's amazing, right? What young people will help share, right? I also think, for people that have some institutional pull or power, I guess you could say, break down some of those barriers. Like, I hear a lot, we can't have kids that are under 18 in our spaces. It's too dangerous. Our insurance won't allow it. Right. If you really dig deeper, you can. We have to do some things, right? Mm-hmm. We have to make some adjustments. We have to, accommodate, certain needs, right? Let's have those hard conversations and let's get into it. Young people need to get in their space and your spaces and places so they can feel comfortable, so they can choose you as the destination. The community needs the young people to stay. We need the young people to stay here in Kalamazoo and help it thrive. And employers play a big role in that as well.
I really see this just changing the work. Like, this could genuinely change the workforce, because one of the things that we keep talking about and we keep trying to figure out ways to make sure it doesn't happen is we don't want to be a highly educated, highly impoverished town. Yeah. And with this, where it's genuinely people getting past kind of like those gatekeeping things that keep them out of certain industries, or they don't even see themselves being in there, then it turns into, this is a space that you can thrive in.
Absolutely.
This is a place where we can find you the career that you want to go into, and here's a job. Here's what you got, all the credentials that you need. What else do you need to get there? Do you need to practice interviewing?
Right.
Is it, then we can tackle the soft skills or, those things. But definitely just knowing the things that get in the way. Yeah. Because I don't know what it takes to get into, an apprenticeship or different things like that. I'm learning about it.
Yeah.
But to see like, oh, there's somebody actually working. There's a whole building.
Yeah.
There's this whole place that says, you know what, you want to go learn like, I don't know, 3D printing, or you want to learn these different things. And it's just like, oh, there's actually a place to do that.
There is.
And there's professionals who say, oh, let me show you this.
Yes, absolutely.
So
can't wait to hear from your listeners, man.
Yeah. So the campus, it represents a new model of collaboration between K-12 districts, higher ed, employers, and nonprofits. What's been the key to making that cross-sector work actually work?
Yeah. First thing I'll just say, open and transparent, is partnership is hard. Mm-hmm. It's hard work. It needs to be tended to like a garden. You know, the key, you know, we had a unique journey in that we had to get the community on board with a new vision. And then we had to go out to the community and say, oh, by the way, we need you to pay for it, you know, and here's the millage vote. In 2019, we went out and we got a millage passed. So we had to convince the voters. That's a big task. And it takes a whole lot of bringing people along, and just a massive amount of transparency. And so I mean, when I think about our journey, we didn't say no to any meetings, presentations, questions, sit downs, any of that. We were up for it all, right? And then we brought people under the tent, right? We said, okay, if you think this is a good idea, let's make sure we're molding it in the way that you think it's a good idea. We included people in every aspect. Okay, we're going to do a design charrette for the building, right? And we have our architects do it. We had 60 people come into that from the community, 13 of whom were young people. We listened to young people. We stayed attuned to what they wanted, right? And then if you go in the building, I can point out all the things where young people said they needed that, they needed that, they needed that. And they were right. They were right, and we listened to them. And I think that was a smart move on our part, is listening to the people that really matter, our end users. And then we owe them information back. And so that a lot of times people ask for opinions, but then they never do the circle back, right? And so for us, the circle back was always, we had a flow chart. I can still see it, of who we communicate with and when, and then what information we get back to them along the way. And so we created a lot of open reports to the community. We wrote 3 of them. We produced videos that, you know, showed them the building project as it was going. We went to every Kiwanis, every Rotary, every meeting we could to get the word out. And so the whole idea is you over-communicate, you stay transparent, and you stay open as heck to the feedback you're getting. If you do that well, and you get genuinely curious about what people are thinking, the response will overwhelm you. That's been my experience, particularly from this community. It's amazing. People want to be involved. People want to help. And I get the sense that it's not like that everywhere. And so we got a little something special going on.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things where, like, I'll have family members visit from, I don't know, like, let's say South Bend or different cities, and they'll be like, what?
Yeah.
You doing what?
I know, right?
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And so, and even people in D.C., like, we have family, like, all over the country.
Yeah.
And they'll just say, what? Your YMCA does this, or YMCA does this? And I'm like, yeah, of course. They have childcare. They got this. And they're like, what?
Yeah.
We don't have that.
Yeah.
So even organizations that are nationwide, the ones here do things differently.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
Yeah, totally.
But anyway, all that to say, you kind of answered my next question,
sure,
which was about student voice.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Ensuring that they stay central at what you're designing.
Yeah. No, it's one of the primary things, right? And we have a student advisory committee still, right, that advises us on all aspects of our programming. Our principal for the Career Connect campus taps into young people all the time. Hey, what do you think if I do that? What do you think if I do? You know, so we're constantly getting their feedback on everything. Instructors are great about that as well, right? We have such an interesting group of instructors. They're so incredible. They all came from business and industry. And so, well, not all, but the vast majority of them came from business and industry recently.
Okay.
And so I mean, you walk into the campus today, you have somebody who was a plumber 2 years ago, somebody who was an auto technician 2 years ago, somebody who was a chef at a nice restaurant 2 years ago. And we spent the last year plus teaching them how to be teachers, right? And so what I found is you bring those folks in without kind of like preconceived notions of what instruction should look like or whatever the case may be. they get super curious. They have a lot of questions, right? And they're not only asking those questions of us, they're asking them of the young people, which is exactly what we should be doing more of. And so it's such a beautiful thing to kind of watch that just naturally occur as well.
That's so cool. Like they're literally learning from people who've done it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yes.
So a little about you, right? We've
Okay.
talked about Career Center, KRESA. Well, before we move on, what is KRESA? We didn't.
Yeah. Great question. Great question.
Maybe we'll edit this to the beginning.
No, it's fine. I think it's such a common question we get. It's hard to understand, the role that an intermediate school district plays, and that's what we do, right? So Kalamazoo Regional Educational Service Agency, every county in Michigan has a RESA or an ISD, right? Basically, we're a hub for certain services that all of our educational partners need, right? And so we provide the support for all special education, for instance, in the county. We have center-based programs and a few awesome schools related to special education. We operate all the early childhood programs, educational early childhood programs, so Head Start, GSRP, all of those things. That's KRESA. Career and technical education. That's a big part of what ISDs and RESAs do. Obviously, that's what I'm here today to talk mostly about. We also are out there, we have a whole division that goes out there and trains teachers how to be great teachers, right? That's our educational supports division. And then what we are able to do as a RESA is we're able to bring economies to scale to serve smaller districts, right? And so you'll see a lot of times like smaller districts that don't necessarily have the financial support of the larger districts, right? We're providing their payroll services or their tech support services. That's all being done by the RESA. So all in, we're almost 800, employees strong. It's a big organization. We've grown substantially. There's about 150 that are in my area of work and Career Connect, and doing amazing work. I mean, we have such an incredible group of employees that just really lean into our core values and what it means to be a service agency, and it's a beautiful thing.
All right, now that we cleared that up,
yeah,
what drives you personally in this work, and what keeps you going on tough days?
What drives me So to me, I would say something that I've always held on to is illumination creates purpose, right? Let's light the pathway so we can create some purpose in young people. As you heard me say earlier, you got to see it to be it, or, help kids see what they can be. That's a literal thing, right? It's a great catchphrase on the back of a t-shirt, but it's also like, how can we expect young people to do something if we don't show them what that thing is? If they don't even know that thing exists. So, it might sound cliche, but we get to see in young people often light bulb moments. And in my role personally, I might see less of those one-on-one light bulb moments, but what I know I'm able to do is impact systems that are creating those by the multitude. And so what we hopefully have helped create over there at the campus and through our other programs in EFA and early middle college and everything else are opportunities for young people to find their purpose, right? To find their purpose. And that's a heck of a way to spend a career is to do that. And when if I can look back over my career and say, I impacted that in a positive way, I'm a happy man. That keeps me going.
When you look 5 to 10 years down the road, what does success look like for the career? You guys picked a lot of C's for this.
C's for the triple C. Yeah.
For the Career Connect campus and for the students you serve.
Yeah. So students first, most importantly, I'm 5 to 10 years. I want to be, in the supermarket talking to healthy, happy students that are doing something in a meaningful career. And I want them to be able to point to us as an important part of their journey. Right. It could be something different for every student, but what I want more than anything is for them to find purpose, like I said earlier. And so if we can look back on their time with us and say we contributed to that purpose, then we've succeeded. Now, I think that's a nice fluffy way of giving an answer, and it's true, by the way. I mean, I'm driven equal parts heart, equal parts head, right? But what I think voters, right, we have to go back out and get our millage renewed in 2039, right? They're going to need to see ROI. What the so what of it all for their investment in our work, right? And what we know that means is it means employers are hiring from this talent pool. Employers are reporting that more talent's staying in our community, that they're coming better prepared for the opportunities that they have for them, that they have those soft skills so they're able to evolve as the needs of that employer evolve, right? So we need to make sure we're serving both the head and the heart in that respect. And I think we can effectively do that. I think we have the systems in place to effectively do that.
Then you're going to be building, okay, now here's our KRESA alumni network.
That's right.
Here's the next step of
it. It's being built now.
Come back and teach, volunteer,
Bingo.
Do those different things. That's awesome.
Yeah.
What's favorite piece of career advice you've ever received?
Oh, this is an easy one for me. Okay, let's see if I can get through this. I used to have a teacher, a middle school music teacher, was somebody who was very impactful in my life. I think most people have, whether it's a teacher or a person, that just cared about them a little bit extra, He was a funny guy. Music was his life. I'm not particularly, but I'm not this guy who hangs out on the weekend and sings and stuff, but I was into him and I was into his instruction. And it made music come alive to me. And more than anything, he cared about me, and he'd always say to me, "Eric, did you sing today? Did you sing today?" He'd walk around these hallways whistling and stuff. "Did you sing today?" And I'd always be like, "Oh, I was just a goofy teacher who likes to sing, who's just asking me, did I do my homework and sing today?" And he would tell me that when he called me on my birthday when I was in high school. He would tell me that when he showed up to my graduation. He would call me on my birthday when I was in my 30s and ask me if I sang today. The last time I saw him, before he passed, he said to me, we had dinner, there's a few of us with him, and he said, "Mr. Stewart, have you sang today? Have you sang today?" And I was like, "Yeah," and we had this conversation about what that meant, and he just said to me, he's like, "For me, it's singing, Eric. I love singing. It's what I do." He's like, "What do you love? And are you doing it today?" That to me is, I have a sign on my office that says "Sing Today." And that's not only the best piece of career advice, it's the best piece of life advice, but it's so applicable to careers. And can we all sing today? Right. And that's, that's what I keep chasing.
Man, I'm tearing up a little bit.
That's a hard one for me to get through, but it's Mr. Smith. Smith. Yeah.
Wow. That was powerful. Okay. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that.
Thank you for letting me.
Stories like that really, I don't know. I love hearing stories like that.
Yeah.
Where something that, like you said, like kind of made that light bulb go off.
Yeah.
Light up. I'm messed up now.
No, I think the important thing to know more than the story itself is like, there's people that have been out there telling us this stuff all through our life, right? And young people, it's hard for them. You remember, you weren't listening to none of that stuff when you were a young person, right? But I think more than anything, kids want somebody that cares about them. And so even when I think about career development, people ask me like, what's the magic? How do you create meaningful career development? Ultimately, it goes back to relationships. How do we show kids that we really care about them? How do we get them to trust us? And then how do we get them to move, right? How do we get them to move? And that all requires relationships. So, whether it's a story like mine or just, I think that's the important stuff is like, you asked me earlier, like, how can parents or folks in the community impact career development? Get to know a young person and be something for them. Yeah. Be a voice in their life. Be somebody who cares about them, and help them do what you can.
I think that's going to be in the next Pixar movie. That's so good. Sorry, I don't mean to joke about it.
No, totally.
Wow. Okay, I'm good. Dream employer or sector you wish more students knew about?
Oh, that's a fun one. Because we just created the first of its kind program in the state around design. We have a really unique, we're in this weird area where we have this really high concentration of design jobs, industrial design jobs. I think it's like a relic of like furniture industry and manufacturing and all that. And so a lot of products get designed here. So we created a design program over at the Career Connect campus. And the way I describe it to young people is like, this is where arts meets industry. And if you're somebody who's influenced by the arts or, you know, called to do some sort of art, you know, or that's just a hobby or interest of yours, this is a way that you can make it super practical to high demand occupations here in our labor market. And so we have an incredible design program. You were talking earlier about 3D printing. You know, if all the 3D printers, all the laser cutters, all the huge, you know, sublimation printing machines, vinyl printing machines, it's an amazing program. And I think if more kids thought about opportunity like that, you know, it could really light a fire. Yeah,
that's so cool. What's one mindset shift you think every student should have when thinking about their future? It's a big question.
How do I say this without being? I think growth. When I think about mindset, like growth mindset, I think when I'm a young people, you know, every day need to, you know, my goal for them would be to learn something new every day. Old people, it's like try to get better at something every day. You know, it's kind of a different framing on that. And so I think young people, you know, need to think through that lens in part. But I also think just being open to what you don't know, right? Being open to learning something new about yourself, right? About yourself. I think we go out every year and we survey all the young people on what do you want to be when you grow up? That's part of our, you know, career development work. And inevitably it's the top 2 or 3 years, social media influencer, professional athlete, you know, whatever these jobs are. Those are all, like, I'm not here to squash nobody's dreams, right? I think anybody can do, you can do amazing things, right? What I think would be an awesome pivot for young people and for people that are helping young people is like, okay, that's the space that interests you. Whether it's social media, something around media or art, or just being an influencer in general. What does that mean? Are you a good galvanizer? Can you lead? You know, whatever those different things are. If you're an athlete, right? Is this something about athletics that drew you in? Is there a marketing angle? Is there whatever, you know? So we can take that seed of an idea that really gets your gears going and build around that actual like opportunities, massive amounts of opportunities. We can do that, right? But it requires two things. It requires a little bit of career guidance, a little bit of help, right, from folks that can help people again see what they can be, and it requires young people to be okay with that, right? There's only, I mean, it's tough in the NBA. You know, it's tough. Like you know, you can do it, but also let's get ready to pivot, right? Let's get ready to pivot with the thing, and so. That's something that I've seen where if kids embrace that a little bit more, I think it would pay huge dividends for them. Yeah.
Or even just like multi-skill, like if you want to go into that, why don't you also like get a like let's say like a business degree or something, so that way you know how to manage it.
That's right.
Things like that.
Risk management, right? Yeah, that's right. That's right.
No, that's awesome. Do you have any questions for us?
That's a good question. No, geez, I didn't even think of that. Here I am.
We asked a lot of questions from you, so that's why I'm like, it makes it fair to say, like, do you have any questions? Did I prep you for it? No.
That's okay. I love it, though. I love it. No, I mean, nothing as I sit here is standing out in terms of big questions I have. I will say this, though, and this is totally unsolicited. The Kalamazoo Promise has played such an important role in not only this county's educational system, which is pretty obvious, but in the world of RESA, Career Connect development as well. I think sometimes, I hope you folks understand like the galvanizing that is done by virtue of the work that you do. It happens outside of these walls too, right? It sets an example, and so. Oftentimes I would hear about, like, you know, we would try to frame ourselves. Could we be the next promise? You know, can we, you know, we were given this amazing gift. Could we be the next, right? And it's totally different, and it's not the same unique value proposition, but it's similar work, right? And I think the partnership that the promise has provided us with, you know, the guidance, you serve on you have folks that serve on our advisories and everything. It's just so valuable. And so the students are far beyond just the Promise scholars, but also the students across this county are benefiting from your work, and you all should know that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't do much. I just host a podcast.
Hey man, this is getting the word out. This is getting the word out, helping kids see what they can be. This is part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything else?
No, that's good.
All right. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate your time.
It's been awesome.
You're amazing. Keep up the amazing work.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right.